Hi guys, welcome to this update video on this Sunday. I hope you have been enjoying your day. Now, we've got quite a bit to discuss in this video. We've got Tropical Storm Debby, which is expected to make landfall as a hurricane and will be a significant rain threat to parts of the southeast states. In addition, there is a tropical wave moving into the Caribbean, currently enhancing the weather for the Windward Islands, bringing showers and thunderstorms. And then there's another tropical wave out there. That one isn't marked for development, but the one moving into the Caribbean has a chance of development over the course of the next couple of days, and models are definitely hinting at that eventuality for these systems. We're going to be looking at the forecast. We're going to be talking about the short term. We'll be going into Debby, and we'll also delve a little bit to the Pacific, where there is a bit of action really kicking up in that ocean basin. So now we're kickstarting things, looking at the active tropical cyclone that we have in the Atlantic right now, Tropical Storm Debby, and we can see all of this rain, thunderstorms associated with it impacting Florida and even parts of western Cuba as well. So it is going to be making landfall tomorrow as a hurricane. So that is expected, and maximum intensity could be at around 90 miles per hour. So it could make landfall as a Cat 1. I wouldn't rule out a Cat 2 either, but it is expected to make landfall as a hurricane. And there's that hurricane warning in effect for the Big Bend area of Florida. Let's go on to the forecast here from the NHC. And here we can see it. So that mustard shading is representative of the extent of tropical storm force winds. So parts of central Florida are likely experiencing, west central Florida likely experiencing some tropical storm force winds from Debby. The center is offshore, but those impacts are spreading in, as I showed you guys, and there's still that tropical storm warning in effect, and that's highlighted in blue. Red for danger, red hurricane warning. So that's in effect for the Big Bend area. As I said, that is where landfall is expected tomorrow. And then there's a tropical storm watch in effect for parts of southern Georgia as well as South Carolina, because Debby is going to be making its way in, potentially moving offshore back into water where it could gain additional strength and then move back into parts of the eastern states. But because it's going to be slowing down significantly, that is what is going to make it a pretty big deal, because it's going to be enhancing a lot of rain. As a matter of fact, let's go on to this here. This is showing the 1 to 5 day rainfall forecast from Debby for the area. We can see that pink shading. Let's go to the key right here. That's representative of rainfall amounts, probably up to 20 inches. So for parts of Georgia and southern South Carolina, there could be a lot of heavy rain. Flood triggering rain for sure. That will be unleashed by Debby. And then, of course, for Florida, going to where that landfall is expected and surrounding areas, there's likely to be a lot of rain, as well as Debby is going to be making its way in. And it's not just the rain, the winds as well, the storm surge, that coastal flooding because of Debby's winds pushing the water onshore. That's going to be another big deal. So it's very unsettled right now, and conditions will only continue to deteriorate for Florida, for the area where landfall is expected tomorrow. So guys, you have been hearing the warnings. Please listen to your local officials when they give the necessary orders, and please be safe if you are being affected or to be affected by Tropical Storm Debby. And then now we're going on to this tropical wave here. We can see all this rain and thunderstorm activity moving into the southeastern Caribbean islands. So Trinidad, Tobago, Grenada, the Grenadines, St. Vincent, maybe even parts of St. Lucia, Martinique as well, Barbados, experiencing some downpours from this system. So this is another disturbance currently given a 20% chance of formation over the course of the next week. And I talked about it yesterday before it was highlighted, and today, this morning, it was highlighted with a chance of development. Now, this is not in exactly the most favorable environment, but as it moves to the west, it may encounter a better environment, which may allow for some development of it. So towards the central and western Caribbean, we could see something become of it. And this could potentially make its way into the Gulf. So the ensembles for the Euro and even the GFS, a couple of them for the GFS, are sniffing at that potential as we're going to be heading into the next several days. But for the short term, we just have a tropical wave, not expected to quickly develop or anything like that. But as we go along this week, we could see it try to materialize and become something more. And later this week as well, it's going to be enhancing the rain for parts of Jamaica, maybe even the Cayman Islands and towards Central America, and even the ABC Islands. I'll be watching and letting you guys know what's expected, because if it is close enough in proximity, it could definitely increase the rainfall there. Going on to the ensemble, so we have the Euro ensemble members, and the more of these L's we see, these clusters, indicates a higher chance of actually seeing something there, just as we're seeing for Debby. Now this goes through the next 5 days to Friday of this week. We can see all those members for Debby showing that general path to the north and then that turn to the northeast as the system rises the eastern coast of the U.S. Then we see these members for the tropical wave currently out there. We can see that they're starting to pick up on development as the system approaches the western Caribbean. And then going further out to Sunday, 2 days later, we can see that there is this northwestward track that is then anticipated from the tropical wave. So it could develop and move into the Gulf. And once something is in the Gulf, someone is going to get hit, or even the Caribbean, Central America, the Caribbean islands, even the parts of the States may get hit once we have something active there. And look at it, we see a couple more members starting to pick up on another system. So all of the tropical waves that are coming off now, not all will develop, but we will have to be keeping a much closer eye on them because we're heading to that favorable phase in the hurricane season when we see the most activity. As it relates to the GFS, all the way from now through Sunday, we don't see a whole lot of members compared to Euro. Really anticipated much development of the current tropical wave approach in the Caribbean islands, affecting the islands. But we do see a couple members definitely showing that we could see something become a bit and not showing much action in the MDR or the main development region afterwards. But we'll definitely have to be keeping our eyes out there. As I said, the water temperatures are well on their way, and overall the environment is going to be a lot more conducive to allow for intensification of these systems. Now, pertaining to the rainfall forecast for the Caribbean for the short term, so it's going to be pretty wet throughout the rest of today and even tomorrow for the Lesser Antilles, for most of the Windward Islands rather. So Dominica all the way through Grenada, Trinidad, Tobago, Barbados is going to remain a bit active, and then further north, not going to be as much rain, but some showers could move by. Same thing with Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Hispaniola, a few spots in Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands as well, Cayman Islands. Then for the ABC Islands, now as all the moisture associated with the tropical wave moves in, there could be a rainfall increase. So we could see some more showers and thunderstorms popping up in the area, which has been generally dry as we head into tomorrow and probably into Tuesday as well. Look into northern South America, northern Guyana, much of Venezuela, Colombia as well could also experience quite a bit of rain. And then for Central America, the area has been generally active, so it's likely to remain active with those periods of showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon. And then we can see portions of Florida and the Gulf with those high rainfall amounts, as I've highlighted before on that forecast from the National Hurricane Center. So some areas could experience rainfall amounts up to 20 inches or so, especially for the states of Georgia and South Carolina. So it's going to be pretty wet as Debby approaches and makes her impact and makes her name be known out there. And as I mentioned, the Pacific is going on with itself as well. So we've got 3 tropical cyclones over there. We have Tropical Storm Carlotta, which was a hurricane, Tropical Storm Danielle, and Tropical Depression 5. So it is active over there as well with those systems. None of these are a threat to any land masses right now, thankfully. With most of these systems that develop within the Pacific, they actually move out to the west and not be a huge bother for anyone. But it's not just these tropical cyclones. There's another area given a high 90% chance of formation through 7 days and 80% chance through 2 days. So we could see another tropical storm develop in the short term. As I said, none of these are a threat to any land masses right now, but I'm going to be keeping you guys posted as necessary on the ocean basin. And so that is essentially what I wanted to share with you in this update video, and I really do hope you found it to be informative. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll get to you when I have the chance to do so, and remember to always be weatherwise.